fitness is a journey, and you will see benefits in your child and yourself with mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. Would just maintain consistency, provide that positive mindset and view of fitness. Don't make it seem like it's a terrible, daunting task. It's something that's empowering. It's something that can give you confidence in all areas of life, not just fitness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Polaris Connection, your podcast that connects parents of autistic children with industry experts and proven results. I am your host, Brad Broyles, and I'm here with my goal-oriented co-host, Nathan Palmer.
You know, that is the best introduction I can have to starting a new year, Brad. Thank you for it. And speaking of goals, I can't think of a better way to talk about them than one that we all have in common, which is movement, fitness, and growing ourselves physically. So.
Absolutely. So it's time to get rid of that holiday cheer belly fat with our wonderful guests that we have here, Dallas and Mackenzie from Kenzie's Kids.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. And remind me, how do you say your last name again?
Klenke.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Klenke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Klenke.
Klenke, yep.
Now, we talked about that. Where did that come?
Italian. Originally, Klenke was kind of the origin from that. So.
All right, now hang on. This is a podcast because Klenke sounds like a pretty easy word. How is this spelled? Because that must have been a challenge for pronouncing.
Oh, no,
Right.
Definitely. Most of the time, my whole life, I don't think anyone's really got it right. I get Klenke,
Yeah.
weird different version, but it's Klenke.
Oh, okay.
Got it. Okay. Brad, I sympathize. I understand.
Sorry about that, folks. You know, well, everybody always gets my last name wrong too. So because it's Broyles, and everybody forgets the R, so they make it Boyles, and I'm like, well, not really. It's Broyles, but thanks, Grandma and Grandpa, for giving me that name.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, we're excited to have you here. Now, there's something. So tell us a little bit more about Kenzie's Kids and kind of what do you do?
Yeah, so we're a mobile fitness company. So we cater towards individuals, in-home training. We go to schools, events, community events. We also go to adult day programs. Basically, any type of program that would need fitness or benefit from fitness, social emotional skills, we go. We cater to them.
We bring all the equipment that you would find at your typical gym right to our clients' doorstep. Programs, kind of like my wife was saying. We try to make it as fun as possible while also getting results.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now when I hear that right off the bat, and if I didn't know this was an autism or special needs podcast, I go, wow, all I have to do is sit at home and fitness comes to me.
Exactly.
But it's not necessarily that. So
I don't have to do anything.
I love this.
We do like to make... Fitness isn't usually viewed as a luxury service, but we want everyone, no matter their age, ability level, we want them to know, hey, there's something I can take pride in that is a little unique. Yes, there is, and it's Kenzie's Kids Mobile Gym. We bring the luxury of fitness into your home or into your program, and we help instill confidence, and especially with the kiddos in the autism community, like I was saying, we really focus on that social emotional pairing with the fitness, because you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. Well, before we kind of get into your programs, let's talk about your background a little bit.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this? You know, it's not like, hey, I'm going to wake up one day and start a mobile fitness
Right.
group. So tell us your background.
Yeah, so it definitely evolved. So I had the dream of Kenzie's Kids since I was in high school. I didn't know exactly what it would be.
Now, what high school did you go to?
I'm back in Indiana. I went to a small private school. No,
So
nobody
I
would
have
know
to ask,
it.
is it Gary, Indiana?
No.
Not Gary. No, okay.
Not Gary. I went to a small private school in Elkhart, Indiana.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had this idea of wanting to serve the underserved community, and typically that's the youth and the special needs community. I just didn't know exactly what to do or how to do it. So in college, I majored in special education and elementary education, and I always was active. I always had that fitness background. I moved.
I'm going to interrupt for just a second,
of course.
Because it really is interesting to me. A lot of guests we have on that get into this space, there's usually a family member, a relative, an experience, babysitting. There's something that pulls them into it. So you said you had this idea in high school. Was it really just out of the blue, or was there a connection there that brought you to this space?
You know, I've been asked that several times, and no, I don't have a family member that has special needs. Of course, I had classmates who did, and I just saw... Even at a young age, I'll never forget, in 4th grade, I had a classmate who had special needs. And again, I went to a small private school, so there really wasn't any resources that could help him as much. And I saw that at a 4th grade level. I saw that. And I saw the way our classmates treated him. And I just knew, like, I want him to be happy and be accepted. And what does that mean? As a 4th grader, who knows? But as I got older.
So really this planted like in elementary school.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, truly. Cool. And so just as I grew, I started to develop it. And my experiences in college, I did, for my student teaching, part special ed, part elementary, just seeing all the different or lack thereof, resources. Moved out to Arizona, and I worked at a behavioral school, and I just really saw the need for, well, there was no fitness at the school I was at.
But what made you move to Arizona?
Well, COVID. So COVID in Indiana, gray, gross. I was like,
so
what
you're like,
am
COVID
I doing?
hit, I'm out of this
Literally,
state. I'm going to the Sunshine State.
Yes, my sister and her family lived here already, so
okay.
I was like, well, why am I still in Indiana? So moved
We
out
love Indiana, just
Yes.
it's really cold.
Yes, in the winter, don't love it. Summer, love it. Very thankful I grew up there, but happy to be out here. So once I went to the behavioral school out here, I saw, again, being at a behavioral school, we had to deal with a lot of the emotions and the social side, and again, lack thereof, the social side. And with no movement in the day, I saw all the behaviors would increase, especially towards the end of the day. And again, that's where Dallas and I met. We both worked there at that school, and we had the same age group of kiddos, but very differing levels.
Different abilities, yes.
Yeah, very, very different. And we both, though, we came together, and we would actually like go out to the outside area and play like wiffle ball or something.
But was that part of the curriculum, or did you do it by yourself?
No, we just kind of did it under the radar. Whether it would be playing cosmic yoga in the classroom or like doing a upbeat, fun, like I would do little dance parties, but I was having them do more intense things, kind of trial and error of what I wanted my business to be. So we learned how to do all of that, and then finally took the plunge. I actually quit that job in like October, so I did.
So October of what year was this?
What was that? 2022? 2020?
Yeah,
Okay.
about 2022,
recent,
around there.
Yeah,
2021 sometime. Yeah.
Something like that. And I actually then started Kenzie's Kids as tutoring.
Yeah.
Tutoring with the social emotional aspect, because I still wasn't sure exactly. He was then training adults. He had his own personal training business for adults. And so after I was tutoring and I was pairing that social emotional side with the movement piece, I was like, hey, Dallas, I keep asking you for advice anyway on the fitness side. Let's just do this together. So,
and then there you go. Well, before we jump into that, I do want to hear Dallas's background. Because you had a fun background that you were telling us earlier. So how did you get involved with Kenzie's Kids?
So for me, it started back, I've been coaching and training since I was about 16, 17 years old. And for me, kind of talking about I didn't have a family member with special needs, but for me, I've told you this before, where it's, we did a bowl-a-thon in college for, the basketball team came out to help, to support the local programs. And there was this one boy with Down syndrome, and I got paired with him. And it was kind of like after that moment, like, okay, I don't know what I have to do to work in this field, but then I knew that's kind of the route that I wanted to go to. And then after that, really, so we were working together, doing our thing, and then like she said, she kind of came and was like, hey, what did you think if we kind of paired both of our talents together? And then and when we started, it was funny, it just started being kind of more of dance parties and like movement, and then it just kind of slowly evolved into what we do now. Well,
I just think it's interesting how you guys got together, because so now, Dallas, where did you grow up?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, so you're from Pennsylvania.
Small
so do you guys argue about what state's better, Indiana or Pennsylvania?
Arizona.
Oh no, yeah. I agree. Arizona, better.
Yes,
better.
We do argue.
We used to have an argument going on who came from the smallest town. And then, so when we first met, no, I'm from a small, no. Then finally, after about 2 years, probably.
When I first went back to your hometown.
She finally came back and she's like, hey, I want to apologize. I'm like, for what? She goes, you win. You come from the smallest town. There's one red light. If you're in the center of town, everything is 5 minutes away from all the other little cities and stuff.
Awesome.
So
I met like 15 of his aunts.
You can be at a red light or a stop sign. Someone will come out. Hey, hold up the road. Oh, you're good. Just go around. You're
hey,
good.
what's up, man?
Yeah, literally like a movie.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny. I know we spend a lot of time sometimes on backstories, but I can tell you, as a parent, there's so many things out there. Sometimes you wonder which of these are just maybe more commercialized and which of these have purpose. And it never ceases to amaze me. The more and more people we meet and talk to, most people are in this field because they're drawn to it, because they find purpose in it. There's other things, right, that you can do.
Right.
And I love talking with collaborators in the space, because honestly, they're like the best people. So you guys just kind of confirm this running theory that these are the best people in the world. And
well, that's even one thing that got us, because we were doing each our own thing, and she was in a sales job, and we were also at the same time trying to figure out what we want to do. And we felt like we were like losing our purpose a little bit.
Yeah.
It was, we were making money, but we weren't happy with what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so then like once we kind of figured this out, it gives us that purpose again. We know we're meant to help people grow in different ways. And it's just been a really cool experience.
And fitness is such a great way to help people because it opens up their nervous system, it opens up their endorphins, and then they're ready to receive.
Those feel good emotions, everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's actually been part of our business is we almost have to educate parents to understand the importance and the benefits of fitness. We like to say we're not just coming to your house and playing games, though obviously depending on student, like we may be playing a fitness game, but there's so many benefits that they don't even realize what we're doing and why. But there's just so much importance to fitness. And again, like I said, the social emotional health. I'm really big on just pairing those two together.
Yeah,
That's
social
just
emotion.
especially with the autism community. That is just so big for me, just because we've seen firsthand how it really helps unwanted behaviors and just their overall success.
Well, Dallas, what did you see in joining your wife in this cause? Because you were working with adults before. What was the difference that you're like, hey, I really enjoy what my wife is doing, other than I just want to be with her all the time? I mean, I'm pretty sure that was a motivating factor
It was a high factor, honestly. It was, yeah. No, for me, is I think just the overall appreciation that you would get from the parents, and just seeing the happiness that a child gets when they succeed. Being that person in their corner, one thing I always talk about is growing up, I had coaches that helped support me and helped turn me into the person that I am today. Playing basketball, I wouldn't be the person I am if it wasn't for my coaches.
Because you played collegiately,
yes, sir.
Basketball, right?
Division III, but yeah.
But still collegiate. I mean, that's awesome.
But without those coaches, I wouldn't be the person I am. And knowing with some of the kids that we worked with too at the Aces, they don't get those same experiences. They might go to a program that they're like, hey, you know what? We can't handle your child. We don't have the ability to do that. So that's why when we created, seeing the first few sessions we did, it's like, no, we can handle it. Throw it all at us. We got it.
And working in the autism space, I do feel like we're almost more like coaches.
Yeah.
With these kids. So to have that background is fantastic. You both have that background.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. So could you imagine inviting these two coaches to your home, working with your child? That's incredible. I love it.
Now, I kind of want to get into a little bit about the methodology here, because I think whether it was intentional or not, you stumbled into an area of, you call it behavior regulation, really, right? Just modulation of the nervous system that, honestly, scientifically, we're still discovering and understanding more and more. When in the early phases of us developing Polaris Academy, we traveled around the country looking at different approaches to education, because what we were trying was kind of new, and I wanted to get as much education as possible. There was a school on the East Coast in Boston called Higashi School. It was developed out of Japan, and really it was a holistic approach to more of a higher needs population, but where they're doing intentional things to influence behavior.
Right.
And one of their core tenets was movement, was programmed and intentional physical activity and structure. So first thing in the morning was a run or a walk.
Yes.
And then they would time specialized movements in different environments based around when they wanted them to feel hungry or when they wanted them to take a rest and feel tired. And so it wasn't just, well, during the day, let's take our 15-minute break. It was programmed intentional movement, and same thing. They saw the behavior result. Now, what has been interesting for me is that's a really visual way in a population that maybe can't communicate or be expressive, that you can do a physical intervention and see a behavior response. And the more I've looked at it, the more I go, we can use that ourselves. But I think sometimes we're conscious of it there and don't recognize the same need in ourselves. So movement structure is huge. So tell me a little bit about what you guys see and what you program, because you're not just physical education, right? So how do you differ from just a coach coming into my house?
Right. So, and it's funny, we always, just really quick, we make the joke, all of our business meetings are on a walk. We always,
that's where,
we need to strategize something business-wise, we go on a walk.
Moving.
If we try to do it seated, it's not going to work. So just to your point, even as adults,
movement is power.
Movement is power.
Is that like your brand slogan? Movement is power.
No, it should be.
It kind of
be.
it is now.
It absolutely should be. You're right.
Yeah, I really like that.
There you go.
But we we pride ourselves in, with us and then all the trainers underneath us, we pride ourselves on being able to go into a home and assess a situation on the spot. So, as you know, being in the classroom, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to go with the flow based on that kiddo that day. So same thing when you're going to someone's home for fitness. We have to go in, and if this kiddo is particularly heightened that day, okay, so our program, maybe it has to completely change than what we have planned out for today. Maybe we need to do some more sensory-friendly medicine ball slams. Let's get that anger out. Let's kind of calm you down a little bit. Or battle ropes, which those are our two fan favorites.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to push pause for a second because I've just learned to follow my instinct on some of this. As a parent, selfishly, I love actionable things I can do like right now. You just went into some ideas for specific behaviors or emotional states.
Yes.
Can you give me a couple common ones and what's the tool you do? Because frankly, like we're hungry for that. Looking at what can I do when my kid is this way? I remember we had a conversation at one of our parent nights recently about like difficulties taking your kid to the grocery store. And this is something that has been like traumatic for this parent for a long time. One of our professionals says, I know, why don't you give them a task or make it a treasure hunt? Give them one item first, then two, in areas they can go, and you gamify an experience. And she went through like 3 or 4 derivations of taking your kid to the grocery store, and it was just refreshing. So walk us through some things that are more sensory-centered or behavior-centric or nervous system regulation-centric.
So I think with that one, honestly, it's it all starts like with what happens when we get there. The other day I had a client where as soon as I walked in that door, she looked up, saw me, and went, "No!" and just started yelling at me. And it was like, okay. So, it's just...
Is that a normal approach for all your...
Sometimes it's like, all right, great. But, that instance is that, for me, it was, okay, you know what? I left the stuff outside for a second, just came in, got to be with the client. Just kind of hung out for a minute. Again, still didn't necessarily want me there, but then just built step by step. I could tell she was a little more keyed up, so I need more, like you kind of said before, the tasks. Hey, instead of making you sit there and do something that's going to not show you interest, she was really big into organizing. So I got a bunch of different medicine balls, threw them throughout the house. So kind of if you're getting someone that's a little more like task-oriented, kind of like you had mentioned, giving those things where it's like, okay, this needs to be in the right order. Let's order all the colors, appropriately. Let's put all the medicine balls in order from lowest weight to heaviest weight. Let's match. So kind of in something like that where if you're getting someone that needs to have a task or needs to really have a focus instead of just like, okay, what am I doing? I'm not really doing, what's my purpose? So kind of giving the movement a purpose so that then the child actually has to focus on something. And they're just really trying to make it fun. I'm the biggest goofball when I need to be. So it's like just trying to, I think in that situation, if you're trying to work with the child, try to take that step back. I think that's the biggest thing we tell our clients is, put yourself in the parent's shoes. And to we're there for an hour. We're not there all day, so it's it's kind of making sure that we can take that step back to kind of help really visualize what's going on.
Right.
And sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and just we always communicate with the parent. Hey, are they working for anything today? Do you want us to incorporate that into the session? Oh, they're working to be able to earn this. Perfect. So we'll keep on reminding them that. And one thing that I think, and this, I guess, is only when we're there, but we've created a visual schedule. I'm sure you guys are familiar with, like, the PEC schedules. Well, we've created our own version of that, and so we always bring that into the session. It's, if you want to explain that more.
No, it's a workout body. Like, you would make your own workout for yourself. You might write down, okay, chest press, squats, all that stuff, but we did it where we have the circuit version of it and they're Velcro. So you can put, okay, you're doing push-ups here, or, okay, you're doing a fitness game.
It's all visual.
So then we put on there.
But you said something. Do they decide what they want to do that day, or honestly, do you decide, or how do you decide what activities?
It depends on the day and the client. I mean, again, when we first get a parent, we find out what the client's goals are. We find out what the parent wants them to work on, whether it be through their OT or just overall health and wellness. But then once we get in there, we also kind of do our first 2 sessions, and we do our assessment where we try to figure out, okay, hey, we see what you want to work on, but also things that we've picked up on from our experience. And then we just try to tailor where, our whole goal is to sometimes with some kids make them not realize they're working out just for fun.
Well, that's what I was kind of really focusing on. Like you made me think, like, if I want them to do squats, what you guys are saying is, well, what's the movement of a squat?
Oh, okay,
and what are some alternative things I can do that involve that movement, right?
I have a fun example of that one in particular. So I love incorporating left and right brain into different fitness movements. So for squats in particular, we have those, those big boxes in the gym you can jump on. Well, we have a kid version of that. So I like bringing that out and, hey, okay, I want you to sit down. You never say squat. I want you to sit down. But as you sit down, I have you holding a cone. And there's a mini beanbag on top of the cone. Don't let it fall.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so we're going to slowly come down. Now, cross the midline. I wouldn't say that, but you're crossing the midline. Now put it in the other hand. Now I want you to stand up. Great, now let's do it again. And now let's do it again. And so then they just did 20 squats. They have no idea that they just did 20 squats.
But they think they're playing a balance game to see if they keep the beanbag from falling.
Exactly, which really helps them mentally, too.
And then you're like, okay, now here's a 45-pound bar.
Exactly.
Now,
Let's get into it. Here we go.
Right.
Now we're warmed up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but even for that then, too.
I'm going to do that next time in the gym. Or get my little cone. With
Go
my
around.
beanbag.
There you go.
I can do it.
I'm ready to go.
And that's what we do with a lot of our programming for our clients is, we have the key things we need to work on. We make it fun, but then also we can incorporate a lot of fitness games. Like another one is where I'll get like the circle cone, these circles out, spread them out throughout the floor, and then I get the kids the medicine balls. So whether it be adding a squat, standing up and chest pressing it, or just sitting and chest pressing it from there. And okay, whoever, if you make it in the blue one, that's 5 points. If you make it in the yellow one, that's 10 points. And then also joining in with them. So then we jump in. So now you're working on your chest, you're working on squats if you want to. So just trying to take those key component movements that will help progress that child, but just making it fun.
We tell all of our trainers, if you're worried about being too silly, you're not doing it right. Working with kids, especially in this field, you need to be silly. You need to be okay with looking a little bit silly.
Well, is there like a common, like, hey, we see this from all kids that they lack in this type of area that you try to improve the most?
I would say the foundations. The
foundations,
functional...
a lot of the motor planning, foundations,
yeah.
core, and a lot of we feel a lot of inverted knees just whether you're not having not being able to strengthen the legs appropriately, and it's just like it's all the tiny muscles. I feel like people forget to focus on where it's not the wrists aren't strong enough to do certain things. But and just kind of work on those key components to help really strengthen them.
In the left and right brain, we do a lot. Like I was saying, we do a lot of fun activities with like the tennis balls, doing different, crossing the midline, switching it over, throwing it across the room, just so they can really practice that focus, but they're also moving at the same time.
Yeah, and that's something I think that we don't give as much attention as we should. A lot of special needs kids, and I can speak from my own son's experience. They tend to be on the outskirts. They're isolated. They don't feel included, and even at a very young age, they'll do parallel play, but not necessarily integrated play, and that only gets you so far. So it's like there's a lot of skills and reflexes that they just never move through and develop like a traditional child might.
Right.
And what we see when they get older is some of these social anxieties they feel are not just laced in pure chemical anxiety, but a fear or an inadequacy that they can't keep up with their peers, they can't do things. And what I love about this idea is you're giving them that confidence, not just strengthening, not just modification or regulation behavior. You're giving that confidence of I can do this, I can have this activity. That now when they get in a social situation, they feel like they can play and engage.
Yes,
Our favorite word is intrinsic motivation.
Yes.
That's what we always want to instill in all of our clients is like that motivation to you know what, I want to do this and I can do this. It's
intrinsic motivation.
I like that.
I think what we love to see too is when we'll be doing a session sometimes, and the parents will either be there to watch the session or they'll kind of be off in the house kind of doing what they need to do. And then it's like they'll be, wow, he can do that? Wow, he's able. And it's like, oh yeah, like it's more of like the surprise.
Do you have parents join you though? I was going to ask.
We actually encourage it.
Yeah.
So we always like to say we have adult weight too. So we have our portable bench, we have our portable barbells. Yeah. We have everything. Like, hey, a lot of times your kids want you to join, and then when they see the parent join, they just get so excited. So we're adaptive, so we can adapt. They can be doing the same exercise, but obviously completely different scales.
Do what I do is so much more powerful than do what I say.
Yes. Especially with fitness,
and one thing I like here, I have a motto that you guys use as well. Say, if not us, then who?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? I love that.
Honestly, it's just I don't know where it came from. I just have always thought that and felt it. I'm like, I don't want to sit around and wait for someone else to solve a problem that needs to be solved when we have the skills to be able to do so. So, I know both of our strengths paired together can really help create a solution to what these kiddos need.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to sit around and wait when we
for
can
it,
help
yeah.
somebody. So we just kind of started saying that, like, if not us, then
Who's
who?
gonna do it? Yeah.
Well, let's do it, and let's create a team around us who can help further that mission.
And that's what we try to instill in all of our trainers too. And like, that's always the hard part, is when you start to bring other people on, you need to make sure that they have your same values, your heart.
Yes,
and
Yes.
And how do you? So tell us a little bit more about your business. So you have people that work for you. How many employees do you have?
6.
6 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And what is the training model to get them on your same page? I
It's
love your
long.
mission. I love your mission. I love
yeah.
your vision.
Yeah.
But we kind of run into that same thing too. When
Yeah.
when we're working with our staff, it's like, okay, how do we share that mission?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do we
it's
give them that
tough.
mindset?
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely take a long time to bring somebody on. We've learned from our mistakes of
Yeah.
like, oh, awesome, you know how to go to the gym, you're hired.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, no.
There's so much more to that. So we actually have found we look for maybe former educators,
OTs,
OT,
PTs.
yeah.
Okay.
Looking for part-time work, things like that. And we have our whole, video library they have to go through that is videos of Dallas explaining, different...
The ins and outs of a session,
Yeah.
remember, you're in control of the session, conversations, just different things of, you might see different behaviors arise. Here's how you kind of
de-escalate.
And they have to go through
Yeah.
about, I think there's 20 videos before they even get into the field with us.
Right. And
Just so
then
that
they
we know they're
shadow.
also
Yeah.
invested.
Well, see, that's what I
Right.
like. That's what I like about you. Like,
Right.
you take the time to
Yes.
build up your staff.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
professional. They know what they're doing. They
Right.
share your vision. So these are just not random gym
No.
rats
Exactly.
coming
Yeah.
over to your
No,
house
exactly.
saying, "Hey,"
Yeah.
because there's a lot of, in fitness, there's a lot of just bad,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
lessons or bad
Yes.
form, or I don't know,
Yes.
that's a bad education about how to do
I
it.
think one thing I can say like that I'm proud to say is like out of all of our trainers, I think we have 2 that have psychologist backgrounds. We have one that's a former teacher, one that is and has his exercise science degree, and then we have
OT.
an occupational therapist. So it's like, again, like you kind of said, it's not just Brad down the street who's been going
Yep.
to the gym,
Come on, guys,
Yeah,
let's do
but
this.
it's all these people that have different ways and backgrounds of working with individuals, with kids, of all abilities and backgrounds.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
big for us, obviously, because
Sure.
we want to be fitness for all. We don't want to have to say, sorry, we can't service you, which we have said only because we don't have enough trainers.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we want to fix that. We are constantly always looking to grow because, you get one client, they refer, and,
Or then you get places in Tucson and it's like
oh, dang it. They're, Prescott,
we actually
Tucson.
when we first started side tangent, when we first started getting traction, we couldn't get anybody in the Gilbert, Mesa, Chandler
Yeah.
area. Every Friday we'd wake up at 5 a.m., drive to Tucson because we got 6 clients in Tucson like that.
So we
But-
still get so many
So, yeah.
inquiries in Tucson, and we just don't have anybody there yet. And we're like, we have to find
yeah,
someone
for like
so
the
we can
first
So
service.
if
That's
anybody
what
in
we did.
Tucson
Yes,
is listening,
please.
Exactly,
please
yeah.
call
Yes.
Kenzie's kids right away.
Yeah.
We need good people.
Please, we need to be in Tucson.
I know. And so tell us some of your, I guess, some success stories. I know you shared a few, but what are some success stories that come top of
Oh,
mind?
yeah. Do you want to, or you want to? Me?
And
There's-
if you want to
success.
include some funny stories too.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
please do.
definitely.
You have it.
There's this one boy that we've been with for a hot
He was one of
2
our very
year-
first clients.
2-3 years now.
Oh,
Well, yeah, the very
3
first.
years?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of our first.
And so when we first started, it was me and Mackenzie. We traveled together, and we go to every
Yeah.
single client. Then we realized, what are we doing? We can get more ground.
Yeah,
we
like,
can go
why-
different ways.
Why are we
like,
together
yeah.
all the time?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know why. We just got married.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
And well, so he was one of our first clients. We get to the house, and the mom's like, "Hey, you're probably gonna have to do a little more work to get." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, no problem." Have you seen Scooby Doo?
I love
course.
Scooby Doo.
I'd have a battle rope around my shoulder. She'd have a medicine ball and some hurdles, and it was just okay. Into this room now. Okay, now and
Chasing
like
around the house. Okay.
he had never been instructor expected to do anything like this. So, we knew like, okay, we're gonna have to put the work in for it. But then now, I mean, he comes to our home gym sometimes, and like he's doing bench press, he's doing squats, he's doing everything. And this client is nonverbal, has issues with motor planning, but we've put the time in. And the parents also saw the value in this. I think that's a big thing too,
And
is where
consistency.
the consistency, the value of what we're doing. And now he went from, us kind of like, okay, we're over here. All right,
Yeah.
one thing. Okay, now we're back over here. Now we're up the stairs. Now we're downstairs. To now
Yeah.
just being able to lock in for an hour and have fun. And he's as soon as I see him, I can see the excitement and joy. And I love
Yeah.
working with this kid.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's, I think our success stories all kind of lead the same way, where it either goes from no, I don't want you here.
Yeah.
To, oh, you have to leave already? Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And it's part of establishing that relationship, that rapport. No matter who the client is or what their ability level is, it's we're here for them, and we're their, like you said, their coach, their friend, their mentor.
Okay, now I'm going to kind of blindside you and maybe rely on some of your expertise and just hit on two things that I know I want to know, and I'm hoping and I think a lot of our parents are going to want to know.
Yeah.
The more and more technology invades our life, right?
Yeah.
Our kids have more and more of a very sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
Now, some of that's necessary. They need to know how to use these tools, but at the same time, they draw you away from these other physically regulating activities. So if you could, one, let us know some strategies on how you incorporate and encourage these types of activities over some of their preferred screen type activities. And then, or maybe how you play off of those. I'm sure you have some strategies you've used. And then second, if you could tell us like a couple, 1, 2, 3, just fun, easy to do at home game type things that a parent today could do with their child in the afternoon.
For sure.
Honestly, at least for me, I think always encouraging the parent, go outside. Take your kiddo outside. Whether you're homeschooling and you're doing math time, go outside. Do math outside. It encourages them to get up, maybe like they're in nature, and that's therapeutic in of itself, is just being outside in nature. But then also incorporating some sort of movement skills in your lessons. So I even did that when I was a teacher. I would, if we were trying to do something like with memorizing, I would have them all stand up, balance on one leg. Okay, now we're gonna do spelling. You say a letter, I say a letter. We're on one leg bouncing. We're throwing the ball to each other. And then I did see a big improvement in their comprehension when they were up and moving during work, whether they're in school or they're doing homeschool at home. Doing things like that, just getting up, is really, really, really beneficial. And it's simple. It's so simple, but simple.
Well, you
works
say it's simple, but
sometimes.
I will tell you, there's nothing natural about giving my child a task and go, oh, and by the way, stand on one leg.
You're right. Well, it's all about like how to motivate them. Hey, we're gonna do something so fun.
I think another one that is a good like quick hitter in the sense of like getting the child involved is trying to give them the reins. So we do one where it's like you can use lines, you can do kind of whatever, it's follow the leader, but it's like giving the child okay, like, hey, I'll start off first, you're gonna copy what I do. So then at first, you're doing, touch your head, touch your shoulder, then, okay, we're running in place. And then after you go for like you a little bit, then you get to switch. Okay, now you're in charge. So I think also when you can give the child a chance to lead and be like, oh, cool, they have to listen now to what I have to say.
Like
you got to set some parameters sometimes. But,
Yeah, sometimes they're, really like a certain movie right now or a Lego game. Okay, what character do you want to be? Perfect. I'll be this character. Okay, you're kind of playing as those characters, but you're having them, what would that character do? Oh, they would fly? Perfect. Let's jump. Oh, so exciting. And not to be away from screens, but we did, to kind of help with that same thing you're saying.
That was the other part of the question. I was trying to think of the other part.
Yeah,
what was the other part?
I knew that's where you were going. So with what you said, we've seen this as an issue for so long. Of course, again, being former teachers. So we did create a fitness app that's on the App Store for families. So it's fully inclusive. So then, okay, if they're going to be on the screen, at least move.
Right.
So at least download.
At least the screen is telling them something
to do.
Exactly. Like at least follow along this video.
So tell us more about your app. Like, how do I get it? How do I use it? What do you recommend?
So and we just are launching it. So it's very brand new. It's called Adapt Fit app. It's on the App Store, but it's also on the web browser. Okay. We did both so that schools, it would be a lot easier for them to get to it on the web browser, screen share it onto the board or wherever. But then we also have it on the App Store, so it's easier at home. It's designed like Netflix, where you can have 3 different profiles, and each profile tracks its own progress. So we have whole programs that I can't take credit for. Dallas did for all the adults. So it's like, hey, moms, dads, this app is still for you, but it's also for your kids. You don't have to go buy 15 different apps. It's all on one.
Well, that was the thing. We wanted to make an app for the whole family.
Yeah.
And that's key. One thing that I'm appreciating more and more is our kids don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Especially some of our sub-profile kids like PDA don't like to be told what to do.
Yes.
And modeling is so huge because it shows investment in what you're asking. And it shows, the expectation and that you're willing to join them in their space.
Right.
I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even our, so the student profile on the app is all video based. So they follow along. So it's different videos of Dallas and I up there.
If you want to see us going, making horse noises and being like, there you go. That's
And all the videos, they may seem silly, but they are based on like, okay, a student should learn how to
foundational
gallop.
movements and things that as you grow as a kid that, you learn how to do.
After 8 hours straight of us
Talk about tired.
being filmed for this app. That was very intense, but it was good.
But we just know Dallas acts like that naturally.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
We had the whole production crew trying not to laugh.
It was 2 days of it. Day one, we were a little both more reserved because we had never done this before, And it's just like, okay, what? And then finally day two, I'm like, you know what? Because we watched the videos, like they were good, but they weren't as like they were lacking
They
like
need
that
to be-
energy. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Day when we get in, they're
He's
like,
named.
oh, they're like, who is it? All right, new person. Like, and they're doing rolls across the floor in the videos and stuff. They're like, okay, cool.
But it's great, and it's a great exercise for the kiddos.
Oh, I bet that was a great
You know.
exercise.
No, yeah, it was.
For you.
Yeah.
8 hours of it? Wow.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we had never been so sore in our lives.
And you know what? There was like no weights really involved, in that much at least, or like. But then after 8 hours, you don't think you get in the car, you're like, I can't keep your eyes open. Like, let's just take a nap here real quick.
Right, and we also have a portion dedicated to adaptive needs. So say you just need to be seated the whole time, whether you're a grandparent or if you're chair bound, or if you're like, you know what, I'm in recovery, or if you're a kiddo who's like, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to sit. That's fine. Here, sit, and then here's a portion for you. So then we have all these adaptive workouts that all can be done seated too.
Yeah.
So again, it truly is an inclusive fitness app for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, where do you get your foundation though? Like, where do you find all these creative ideas, or what do you like? Is it just?
It's through experience, truly.
Yeah. Okay. So these are all proven. Hey, we've done this before.
And,
We've seen this
science,
before.
exactly. A lot of research and stuff
Awesome.
too, especially like for like in the app and everything, and just foundations. That's the thing, we have our certifications also in personal training.
Right.
So it's not like we just went, hey, we were teachers and now we're going to start this thing. We made sure going into this, okay, let's get the proper certification so that one, we can stand behind our knowledge and have the science backing it up.
Right.
The way I might train, say, you guys, it would be able to be mirrored in the sense of the way I might train a child, because it's just, okay, how do I need to either adapt this to make it harder for you guys, or how do I need to scale it to make it harder for you guys, or how do I need to adapt it for this child who either has trouble motor planning, following directions. So really, it's like, for me, it's the same avenue, just which way do I need to go with who I'm working with.
Well, and that's really important for our audience to know. Like, you guys have the expertise, you did the education, you have I call it grass time. You're on the field.
Right.
You've done it multiple times.
Yes.
You know what works.
Right.
So our parents have confidence in what your skills and abilities are,
Right.
and what you bring to the table.
And let me go back to something that I think we jumped by a little too fast. A lot of what we talked about, and I appreciate, by the way, all the examples. Like, I'm hoping this has spawned some creativity in the minds of our listeners of, maybe I can go home and this, like the squat
Get out
thing
the
I
soup
love.
cans.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
for Jack
Yeah,
next time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can do that
Send
with,
a video.
I can even do that with like Simon Says and some mirroring.
Exactly.
And so, but the other side, it's not just skill development. A lot of what you're talking about, motor planning and movement and strengthening progression, I get all that.
Yeah.
You reference behavior, right? So talk to me more about how what you're doing helps to impact the behavior side, and what does that look like? What have you seen?
Honestly, it always starts with a conversation. I say always, depending on. That's not true.
We know there's no always in this business.
Yes,
Exactly,
yes,
yeah.
not always. Most of the time, we try to structure it where, okay, we're going to start with a conversation. Okay, tell me what you're feeling and why. Was that exercise too challenging for you? Or did you feel like it was too challenging? Did it make you upset? Did you not like the way that texture felt of that dumbbell? Tell me where you're at. Giving them examples of how they might be feeling, having that conversation. Again, just to kind of, let's take a break, let's take a beat, let's take some deep breaths. We love doing, again, it's simple, but like hand on your tummy, hand on your heart, let's breathe for a little bit so they can feel their body breathing slowly, and we just kind of get back to that center, get back to that calm, and have a conversation with, hey, I'm here for you. I'm not trying to make you do something that is out of your reach. We always tell them, hey, you are capable of doing anything we give you. We're never going to put you in harm's way. We're always going to give you different movements, ideas, exercises that you are capable of. Really making sure they understand that. That's huge.
Yeah.
I don't want to get off on a tangent again.
No,
but,
that's great.
That is big.
that is
having a
just-
win
That
mentality
confidence.
and giving in
Yes.
that emotional inventory. That's great.
Exactly. And that usually really, really helps with okay, now maybe we're able to pull some information out of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I just actually had a really bad day today. Great, let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's take a walk and let's talk about it. So we're still moving. We're not sitting. Let's, you know what, as we talk about it, if they're at our home gym, let's stand on the power plate, the vibration plates. I don't know if you're familiar. Really great for sensory.
Yeah.
Let's just have a chat about it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that made you feel that way. We go through the whole social emotional, phase of it.
You used to do one thing, I remember, the zones, and that kind of would help. Like,
Yeah.
we used that early on in the sessions, and I think it just kind of developed into not
Right.
calling that anymore, just like what we naturally, are you, the green zone was what they're,
Right.
the con, and then going
Yeah, it's
through
like,
all
okay,
that.
hey, I can see, and a lot of times we do call them out in an appropriate, like, hey,
Yeah.
I can see that you're really upset right now. So what do we need to do to fix that?
Well, and what you're saying, like with behavior, like a lot of things that might be going in
Yeah.
their lives
Yeah.
affects their.
Right, and they might not realize it
Right.
Yeah.
until you have that conversation.
Again, that's that coach coming out.
Exactly.
And allows them to recognize that. They're like,
Right.
yeah, okay, so then when you come in, like, you're like, okay, we have this as a plan, but we might have to adapt that based upon
Right.
what's going on in that child's life at that moment.
Exactly.
Maybe they had a bad day.
Yeah.
Maybe they had an argument with their mom or dad or whatever.
Right, and in our binder that has that schedule, we
Yeah.
also have our first this, then that. So we have that page too. So, okay, first we have to do this.
To your point, though, I think we kind of skipped over that.
So I keep skipping
with
over.
the, well,
I get so
To
excited.
help with the behaviors, like in a session, so we've created our trainer binder, and it's our trainer binder. And
The trainer binder. We call it the trainer
The
binder.
trainer binder.
Yeah.
Good name.
We've got our PEC schedule in there for a page for first, then, okay, first we're doing this to kind of help show that schedule so, we can give the client a little more control if they know what's going on. It's not just going to be this up in the air, hey, I'm going to show up for an hour and we might do some of this, we might do some of that. Trying to give them that, seeing, hey, this is what we start with and this is what we should be ending with. And then times change. Sometimes it doesn't always go flow, but we have the first, then we have the schedule. We have, what are we working for? We have, hey, if you earn these many stars and they're all Velcro, you can take a 5-minute break or something like that, just to help show
It's
that.
all based on the client. So, maybe for this client, it might be one sort of reward. This client
Yeah.
might be different. It just
Yeah.
depends.
Well, there's a principle here, I think, that is just something we forget as parents, as adults, really, and it's flexibility.
Yes.
There's usually
Yeah.
as a parent, there's something I want, right?
Yes.
And if I get frustrated, it's because my child is not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I can be flexible and realize there's multiple paths to
Yes.
this thing,
Yes.
it helps. So I love, in a sense, you guys are really about flexible fitness, not just in a
100%.
physical sense, but in
Yes.
a behavioral, emotional sense.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, as much for the parent as for the child. If they're going to watch, what you guys are doing is allowing flexibility to arrive at the goal
Right.
rather than rigidity, which is typically
Right.
what we see in most strength
Yeah.
training it's rigid. It's
Yeah.
this is the protocol.
Right.
This is the
This is what we're
program.
doing right now.
You have
No.
to suffer through this. Like,
Yeah.
This is your workout of the
Yeah.
day.
And
right?
parenting, I think we tend to be rigid. I'm the parent. This is what I want you to do. And what I love about this dialogue is really you're just talking about don't be so stuck in the path.
Yes.
Be focused on the destination
Yes.
and be open to finding a different path to get there.
No, yeah.
And
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to write that down on our
Well,
website too.
That's what we're gonna
I
jot
like
that
the way you
down,
said
yeah.
that.
That's what we always tell our trainers, like, hey, make sure you have your plan. Go in there, but don't get strung out, or if that plan changes just like that.
Yeah.
Be prepared to have to go a different route, different avenue. You might have had like you said, like a full strength day ready to go. You know what? Maybe it's gonna be a little more stretching today. Maybe it's gonna be a little
Yeah.
more calming things, and then
Yeah, the amount of times we have walked into someone's house and the kid is
yeah.
running around without their clothes on. They're like, oh, it's that day.
Yeah.
okay,
do
we're gonna
think-
do something
Dallas,
different
it's
today.
time to go.
yeah, like all right.
I do think one thing though that we do early on, and I think this is from our background experience from where we've worked, is the expectations. We want to come in and we want to meet the child where they're at, but we also want to know that, one, we're always going to show you respect, but we want respect in return, in the sense of respecting the equipment, respecting that we're here
Right.
to help you. We understand you can be upset, things might get said, but we're never going to just walk away from you.
Right.
Like, we're always going to be here in your corner to, like you said, like that coach.
Right.
We're always going to be here in your corner, but
We'll
we want to
always
make
come
sure
back.
that the client respects themselves, the equipment, ourselves, just to kind of help show that self-worth and everything too with that. I think of one boy we used to work with. and 16, 17-year-old, and, you know, would love us coming there. But one day he was just having a day where wasn't agreeing with mom and dad, something was going on, and it took us off guard because, like, he started slamming all the weights, and we're like, whoa, what's going on, man? Like, we don't know. And so finally it was like, you know, we had to, you know, be real with him. Like, hey, we're going to take a break. You take 5 minutes, go where you need to go, come back, and then we can talk. But then knowing with him that we knew that's how you kind of had to stop it, get him to understand, and then he came back. Hey, I'm sorry. And it was just, but for that kind of behavior-wise, it just changes from each kid to kid, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are some other success? Because like, not only do they improve their motor skills
mm-hmm.
and physical fitness and whatnot, you know,
yeah.
but I know there's also some additional side effects as well. Yeah. Meaning, like, have you seen other additional successes throughout your program that maybe it goes to that they're more calm at home, or they're better with their family, or maybe educationally as well?
I do have one off of that one.
Yeah.
There's one girl that we used to see, that I still see, but, you know, anger. A lot of anger issues and things like that. And, after about the first 2 months, you know, she would never nap, she would never say anything like that, but, like, after a session, just that anger release. You know, and now it's, you know, we went from where we would do a session, and a lot of the session was me kind of like trying to either dodge or like, you know,
up on the floor.
or so it was one of those things where, you know, by doing these sessions, it helped her just kind of give an outlet to, okay, we're doing this heavy work. Okay, you and me, we're going to work together. Like you can, you know, push with me. We can kind of, you know, like, you know, and like, you know, we're going to do these heavy weighted pulls and stuff. So by adding in the strength portion, by adding in just that heavy movement in an appropriate way, you know, mom would always send me pictures. She goes, it's always a good Wednesday when you come by, and then she'd just be passed out. But then she'd wake up though and just
it's teaching the client what they need.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, it's trying to get them to understand, again, no matter whether they're nonverbal or not, it's getting them to understand, when I feel this way, my body needs that pressure. I need to do those hand squeezes. I need to give myself a diet.
Okay, so now I need to ask you a different question. We're in the new season, beginning of the year. A lot of people are setting goals, which means we are revisiting our expectations.
Yes.
And I think that's sometimes where we get into trouble. We set what we think should happen, and if it's not met, we just internalize now it's a failure, regardless of the wins we had along the way.
Yeah.
You guys work on, I'm sure, goals a lot. So I'm curious, what are some ways to not feel defeated with your goals, or some ways to manage expectations so that this isn't just a January thing? We can actually continue and work through those positive wins throughout the year.
I think something that we do, which might be a little controversial, we don't put a time frame on the goal. You know, we don't say like, okay, you need to reach this goal by the end of the month. You know, we don't put a time frame on it. Kind of like, you know, in school, an IEP lasts the whole year. Fitness should be no different. You know, so hey, we're going to work with consistency, and that's always really big too, to get parents to understand.
Is there a story behind that? Because you say, hey, this is a little bit controversial. You know,
well,
what's the story behind that?
I think a lot of times people want that instant gratification.
Yeah.
They want
when it comes to fitness, it's like, okay, I want to lose 30 pounds in 1 week. It's like, well, all right, how are we going to do this?
Or I want my kid to learn how to do this intense skill, and I only want to do it 1 day a week for 1 month. Okay, like, we're going to do our very, very best, but it may take some more time than that, you know. And again, because we do take so much time to make sure it's a supportive environment, a welcoming environment, you know, focusing on that social emotional aspect as well. So really setting those goals and always checking in. That's why we have our progress monitoring that we also do. We forgot to mention that we have our progress monitoring sheets that we go over with the parent for a session and then revisit every 3 months, and just to encourage that consistency and say, hey, here's where they started. Look how far they've come already. And it's only been this amount of time, you know, like let's try to up it now. Or, hey, you know what, we're struggling with this. Let's keep it where it's at. Maybe we'll try these methods and, you know, continue on. So I think honestly, just not putting a time frame on your own success, because we will help as much as we can, and then it's up to that individual and that family as well how you know how much they
we can give the tools of what to do, but then sometimes, you know, a lot of times it might take a little while for them to buy into what we're doing too. So it's that, you know, I think the biggest thing is just giving yourself grace, you know, like knowing, like, you know, as long as you're showing up and trying your hardest, that you will make progress over time.
You know, don't we hear that a lot, Nathan?
Yeah.
We do. We, like, as we've been growing this podcast, this theme keeps coming back of, like, you know, Mackenzie, you said something like, don't put a timeline on there, but give it, be consistent.
Right.
Right? Give
Right.
yourself some grace. Like, how important is that? Just stay consistent. It's okay. Like,
Right.
by something like you were mentioning, sometimes by putting these goals, we set up ourselves for failure.
Exactly. And I mean, we learned that in our own journeys, just all adults, we learn that too. I'm 3 months postpartum and I'm telling myself that every day, like, okay, it's a journey. It's okay. It's only been 3 months.
Well, the irony is the metric for success we create internally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
whether something is successful or a failure is purely in how we choose to see it. And
Right.
so
Exactly.
I love this idea of flexibility, because if we're really going to internalize what you're saying, it's that there's wins all along the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
and the goal only has to be as strict as you set it.
Yes.
And the path you take may have some unexpected twists and turns, but
Right.
that's okay. If you can be flexible in your expectations, you're always going to be in a winning mindset.
100%.
Love it.
And just stay off social media and try
Yeah.
and compare yourself.
That's another thing that comes up a lot, right?
That's
Yes.
always.
But then we're always scrolling.
Yeah.
It's so
I
much
know.
fun.
I
Darn
know.
it.
I know.
It's the comparison I think we see a lot though, where it's like, we'll get a kid that's 16 and like, has autism, high functioning, and wants to do all this stuff, but it's like, oh well, this guy on social media that I follow, he's 18 and he's like this, and it's like, well, okay, there's a lot of differences and things, and it's just like the comparison kills, and it's just be.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Comparison does kill.
Yeah.
Just be consistent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So what are some last minute advice that you would give, or as we kind of wrap up, what would you like to tell our parents out there, just kind of that you would just tell them at random, like, what are some good advice that you would give?
Honestly, again, just going with what you're saying, consistency. Fitness is a journey, and you will see benefits in your child and yourself with mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. Would just maintain consistency, provide that positive mindset and view of fitness. Don't make it seem like it's a terrible, daunting task. It's something that's empowering. It's something that can give you confidence in all areas of life, not just fitness.
And I'm going to jump in there because that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah.
Is we use fitness as a punishment.
Yeah.
And I've never agreed with that.
No.
Like, so it's again a little bit of a tangent, but like I coach football and I love football, but we never use conditioning as a punishment.
No, yeah, you're right.
It's like, no, this is your moment that you can excel.
Yes.
Get better,
you need to get better, and now is our time to do it. It's not a
Right.
punishment.
No, that's awesome.
And take pride in it too. Like after you accomplish that really hard session, take pride in it.
Yeah.
Teaching, appropriate pride. You obviously don't want to go down to a to a bad rabbit hole, but teaching that appropriate mindset and view.
I think to add though to what you're saying is like, I think one thing kind of going off you said, like, it's not a punishment, but also fitness isn't going to look the same as it is for me or you or fitness is going to be different. Fitness it could be just getting up, going for a 5-minute walk.
Right.
It doesn't have to be going to the gym for 2 hours, pumping weights and going crazy. It just, fitness can be what it needs to be for you, whether it be that walk, whether it be stretching, and then you can just build on that. So if maybe for that first week you go for a walk 2-3 days a week, okay, maybe you go for next week a little longer walk, and then it builds off of what you need it to be. It doesn't need to be all out or get out. It can just be a little bit of what you need in that moment to help make yourself feel better.
Right. Feel encouraged, feel empowered, and you can do it.
I love it. Movement is power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Flexibility.
I'm gonna write that down again.
Flexibility is as germane to fitness as it is to our expectations, and whether we succeed or fail is entirely up to how we choose to view it.
Exactly.
I love it.
Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much for being
thank
here.
you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Dallas and Mackenzie, thank you so much. And thank you for everybody for listening. Thank you for making us part of your day. Please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation that inspires connection. We also wanted to say thank you to our producer, Jesse Palmer, and our marketing director, Dallin Davis. Until next time, let's go do some good.